Well, good morning. Yes, no, it's not a good end of summer if you live in outer London or the home counties, because, as you say, yesterday the ULEZ expansion became mandatory right out to the outer London boundary, which is going to hit workers on low pay who may be driving an older car, or small businesses, plumbers, window cleaners, and the like. And for no real environmental benefit. And now there are proposals by the Mayor of London to withdraw the day travel card, which, I'm 54 years old. I've been using day travel cards since I was a teenager. I think they were called capital cards in the old days. That probably ages me quite a bit. But they're convenient for people who don't often travel to London. Perhaps they have business in London a couple of times a month. Perhaps it's for holiday family days out when the schools are off. And by scrapping the travel card, which of course means you can use the train into London and then buses and tubes across London, by scrapping that, it's going to be more expensive for people and small businesses, and more inconvenient because people will have to either buy a ticket into London and then another one for the tube or the bus. And of course, Oyster isn't an option for many people in Surrey and Sussex.
And do you think, this could be the difference? Say it's the summer, we're in the summer holidays still for the next few days. It's going to be the difference between being able to take your kids up to London for a day out and not being able to take your kids up into London for a day out, because what you save on the travel card, you might be contributing elsewhere to London's economy.
I think that's a very good point. If people aren't going to travel to London because it is more expensive to take the kids up with you for that day out, then you're not going to be spending money in restaurants and coffee shops or attractions around London, or shopping there. But also it's more expensive for those small businesses, or those perhaps self-employed who occasionally need to go into London. And getting a season ticket wouldn't be economic sense because they're not there every day, as many commuters are. So I do think it will put a lot of people off. And indeed, I've even had a constituent of mine who has a business in London seriously now considering moving that business out of London. So I think there could be a detrimental effect, an unintended consequence, a false economy, if you will, by making it more expensive to get into London. And at a time when, understandably, local governments are trying to encourage people to get out of their cars because of pollution, because of congestion, to then make it more difficult to get public transport really seems to be counterproductive.
There's a perception, maybe not this close to London, but certainly elsewhere in the country, that Londoners have it all their own way and it's all about London, London, London. The reality, a lot of Londoners would say, is that that isn't what it's like to actually live there, and it is equally as expensive. So you might wonder what it is the mayor's trying to achieve here. From your perspective, would you say that he's almost trying to discourage people from travelling there?
Well, I can't speak for the Mayor of London, obviously, but I know that London is an international city, and I sometimes wonder whether those who represent the population in the very centre of London lose sight of the fact that there is outer London, which has a very different feel and economy, and then there is the home counties beyond, which is, again, different. And I sometimes think maybe they focus on sort of inner London, central London, as being sort of everything. And actually, the fact is it's a much more complex and broader economy than that. And that interaction between outer London and Surrey, Sussex, Kent, and the other surrounding counties and the capital is very important. I also think there's an issue here of who's making decisions, because a decision, people in Surrey and Sussex can't vote for the Mayor of London, obviously, but the Mayor of London is making decisions that is impacting their lives. And therefore, I do think there is a case, and this is what I'll be taking up in Parliament when we return next week. There is a case, I think, for maybe these decisions not being taken by the Mayor of London, but actually being taken by the Department for Transport, because they do have UK-wide and certainly southeast-wide implications.
And just finally, if we can go back to the point of poorer families or poorer people and people commuting in. Many people have been priced out of the capital and been forced to leave. Of course, a lot of people have chosen to leave. We've seen lifestyle changes, which is a hangover from the pandemic as well. That's a separate issue, though. Lots of people, it would be more convenient to live and work in London, but just simply can't afford to do so, and now potentially can't afford to drive in or commute in.
Well, London is undoubtedly an expensive city. As I said, it is an international city, and it's somewhere that I think a lot of people on lower incomes do struggle to get by. But I think the answer to that isn't to make it more difficult to get into London and transact business and carry out your day-to-day life. I think the more easier you make it for people to visit London and spend money in London, then that is actually good for everybody's well-being. So I think, withdrawing a very popular public travel measure, you get the one card, it does you for the whole day. You can hop on, hop off tubes and buses and so forth. Very convenient. I think is very important for both the economy of London and the South East. Removing that, I think, is something that certainly I'm asking Mayor Sadiq Khan to think again on, and why I've launched this petition.
All right, Henry, good to chat to you. Where can people find the details of the petition?
They can go to my website, which is www.henrysmith.info.
All right, very good. Thank you, Henry. Thank you for your time. Henry Smith there, who's the Crawley MP.